Hello learners, welcome to the Manifested e-Learning Forum. Today we will proceed with our discussion of the topic Christian ethics. Christian ethics. Christian ethics. Introduction to Christian ethics. This is the first topic of the secondary, that is Form 4 secondary CRE. In our last lesson, we defined ethics, and we say that the word ethics is derived from two Greek words, that is ethos and ethikos, which means character or conduct, character and conduct respectively. In our today's lesson, we're going to define Christian ethics. Then we'll also highlight some of the challenges that Christians are faced with today. Some of the challenges will list some of the issues that Christians are grappling with today. So that is the objective of our today's lesson. Number one, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to define Christian ethics. Number two, you should be in a position to highlight challenges that are faced by Christians today. So let's begin with the definition of the Christian ethics. What is Christian ethics? Now, before I define Christian ethics, just remind we had defined ethics as a set of moral rules or standards or principles that guide the rightness or the wrongness of our behavior. Okay? Now, that's the general meaning of the word ethics. We say that ethics is also interchangeably used with the word morals. Okay? Now, Christian ethics refers to a set of standards or rules or principles and practices of right and wrong behaviors as derived from the scriptures. In other words, Christian ethics is the study of the principles and practices of right and wrong in the light of the scriptures. In the light of the scriptures. So, Christian ethics determines the kind of behavior that Christians should portray. All right? It refers to the principles and also values derived from Christian teachings. And such principles provide the standards that govern the conduct of Christians when they are faced with situations or dilemmas or paradoxes. So it's very simple. Christian ethics defines the concepts of right, what we call virtue, defines the concept of right. Christian ethics defines the concept of right, defines, number one, the concept of right, and also the concept of wrong. Defines the concept of right and also the concept of wrong. In other words, it defines the concept of right, what we also sometimes call virtue or virtuous. Okay? And the concept of wrong, which we sometimes refer to as sin or sinful or bad or evil. So within the definition of Christian ethics, it brings out is just is a study of principles and practices of right and wrong. What is right? What is wrong? And these principles provide standards that govern the conduct. It governs the conduct. Christians are governed by these principles, and that again governs their conduct, okay? Especially when they are faced with the decisions that are supposed to be made. What decisions should a Christian make when faced with these paradoxes or these dilemmas? So Christian learners, Christian ethics is mainly about how Christians make choices. It's a real subject. It's concerned with how Christians make choices on day-to-day basis. On daily basis, Christians are faced with moral issues. Decisions have to be made on a daily basis. So Christian ethics is mainly concerned with the how Christians make choices, or they make decisions in their daily lives. Okay, so these principles and values, with also the full knowledge of their consequences. Okay, these principles, learners, these Christian principles and rules, they guide the behavior of Christians, because with these principles, we learn the consequences of our actions, because these principles is all about making decisions. So it is within the Christian teaching to bring out some of the consequences of our actions. And the full knowledge of the consequences of our behavior, the consequences of behavior, will determine how we make our choices. So today, Christians are faced with a wide range of issues and challenges that require them to make moral choices. Every day is a day, each and single day, each and every one of us has to make some moral decisions. And these decisions, as a Christian, Christians need to have knowledge of the rules, what is expected of them, the consequences of their actions, and so on. So there are various challenges that are faced by not only Christians, but generally human beings, and decisions have to be made. So we are going to highlight some of these challenges. We will highlight some of the challenges that Christians face in particular, but also some of these challenges are not just faced by Christians, but by every human being. Every human being is faced with moral challenges or moral issues that must be addressed. So I want to highlight some of the challenges. These are challenges and issues that are faced with Christians today that require them to make moral decisions, that require Christians to make moral decisions. There are wide range of issues, wide range of challenges that are faced by Christians that require these Christians to make moral decisions. Number one, the first one is terminal illness. Terminal illness such as HIV and AIDS, cancer. At the time of recording this video, all schools have been closed because of the coronavirus disease. It's a global issue. It's a problem and a big one. In fact, it has been declared as a pandemic. Okay, and other than that, they have other diseases like cancer. There is HIV and AIDS and so on. Then there is also drug and substitute and drug. Number two, drug and substance abuse. This is an issue. We have many young ones and some even old old people abusing drugs and substances is a big issue. It has contributed to loss of lives, it has contributed to loss of family members, and so on. Unstable people, some of these drugs have led people to go mad. So this is an issue that will need to be addressed. Number 3 is the social immorality. Social immorality, e.g. prostitution. This is again a challenge. Then number 4 is homosexuality. Homosexuality. From the Christian point of view, homosexuality is one of the immoral behaviors, and we've seen a rise in cases of homosexuals in the world today. This is also an issue. There's also the issue of misuse of leisure. Misuse of leisure. Misuse of leisure. This we'll be discussing more on misuse on leisure in this syllabus. There is a topic on leisure. We talk more about leisure. Then number 6, another challenge is poverty and unemployment. Poverty and unemployment. These are issues that are faced by many people, including Christians. They have people who are poor, they can't afford basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, and so on. There's also the issue of unemployment. We have individuals who are well qualified, but they don't have opportunities to work. So this is another problem. Then we have weakened marriage and family bonds. Weakened family bonds. We can say family and marriage bonds. Today we have issues of weak families. There are families that are divorcing. There are marriages that are failing. There are families where members are not in agreement. There are always disagreement. We have seen on social media, on television. We've read in newspapers how family members are killing each other, how families are divorcing, how children are not living with their parents. So there is weakened marriages and family bonds. That is a challenge that is being faced by all members of society today. Then there is conflicts and violence based on gender. Gender violence is a big issue today. Gender violence. Gender violence. We have violence meted against women. Okay, in some instances, there is violence meted against men because of gender, and that is a big issue. Then we can also mention tribe, religion, and political orientation. That is tribalism. This is number 9. You can say tribalism, or you can just say tribe, religion, and political orientation. We've had situations where individuals are not granted opportunities because of their tribe or religion or political orientation or associations is a problem, okay? And another point, number 10, is social and political injustices. Social and political injustices. That is an issue which we will also be addressing in this syllabus. There is also ethical, ethnic clashes. We've had issues of ethnic clashes. We have tribalism, we have wars. These are problems. Wars, terrorism, and so on. So these are issues that we are grappling with. Number 12 is human rights violations. Human rights violations. Every human being has certain rights, like right of expression, right to life, right to association, right of expression, and so on. Some of these rights are enshrined in our constitution and other countries' constitutions. Some of these rights are violated. Okay, these are issues that will need to be addressed. Number 14, we have the problem of refugees and internally displaced persons. 13, refugees and IDPs, internally displaced persons. There are people who are displaced within their country. There are refugees who are coming from other countries, bringing pressure and instability in different countries. So these are issues. I can mention bribery and corruption. Number 4, bribery and corruption. These are issues that Christians are faced with. There are places in our country where you cannot get services unless you bribe. There are people who have who deserve certain services, but they cannot be served because some systems are corrupt. And we've seen even the president talking much about corruption and how the government is putting in measures to reduce the levels of corruption. We've had commissions being set up, like the EACC. Okay, that is those are some of the measures that have been put in place. So we are faced with these problems: bribery, corruption, and issues also are emerging from globalization and industrialization. We have issues emerging from globalization and also the process of industrialization. We have also issues to do with information explosion. Okay, information explosion due to the development in the information communication and technology. So that has led to many issues like the emergence of social media. There is information on social media which is not verified. There's information that is counterproductive, like pornography and information that is not good for consumption, especially for our children. So those are issues that I can mention. There are many issues. I've said these are just examples of issues that Christians and members, generally members of the society, have to deal with. So learners, while living in a society that is characterized by all these issues and many more, Christians are expected to be morally upright. And this they can do by making sound moral decisions to fight all these challenges, all these issues, okay, all these vices, which some of them are modern, okay, modern society that we find in a modern society. So Christian ethics has a central focus on conduct. And this is because we cannot separate Christianity from the conduct of Christians. So Christian ethics provides guidelines on how Christians are expected to relate with God, then number 2, with fellow human beings. And these fellow human beings may not necessarily be fellow Christians. Christians are living in a society where people do not adhere to their to Christian ethics. So a Christian lives in a world where he's expected to live uprightly, And Christian ethics provides the guidelines on how Christians are expected to relate with fellow human beings and also God. And that's why we are teaching you Christian ethics, so that when you get into society, as you mature, then you know what is right from what is wrong. You know what are the consequences of doing what is right, what are the consequences of doing what is wrong. And in most cases, learners, Christians are identified as followers of Jesus Christ and generally children of God. But of course, someone will argue all of us are children of God. Of course, all of us are God's children by virtue of Him being our creator. All right? So Christians are meant to emulate, to adhere to the teachings of the scriptures. So the conduct of a Christian should be a reflection, is meant to be a reflection of the fruits of the Holy Spirit. That is in accordance to the book of Galatians chapter 5. We'll look at that at some point as we continue in our study. So a Christian learners should lead a life that gives him or her an identity as a child of God, okay, as a child of God. And in our subsequent lesson, we'll be looking at some of the basis of Christian ethics. Other than the Bible, the principles of Christian ethics are derived from other considerations like the Christian community, the reason, human reason and experience. Other consideration is a natural law and the scriptures. So we will stop there for today. In our next lesson, we are going to discuss reasons why we study Christian ethics. We are going to discuss the reasons why we study Christian ethics in our next sessions. I hope to see you. Make sure you go through this video, write notes, and when we meet next time, we'll look at something different. Bye-bye.